Hi, this time a little flatty. This is a Falcon F7 RGB light. It's got variable gain from 0 right up to 100%. Don't get me wrong though, 100% isn't going to overcome bright sunlight, but it's good enough for something like a GoPro when you're out and about, and you can still get it in your pocket, so that's good. It also has presets on it. You get that kind of thing. Loads of little presets. They're for special occasions, I suppose. Something to drive you nutty, try and find, but lightning effects, police effects, all kinds of things. So if you're making films with those kinds of things, that's fantastic. But if you're vlogging, it might make it into a horror film, I don't know. The other thing, of course, is you can change the colour temperature dead easily to match whatever you've got out here. So it's a very, very handy little light. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this out on the GoPro, and I'm going to take it out into some sunshine just to see how strong it is in the sunshine and whether it makes a difference to the contrast ratio. One of the things about filming with a miniature camera like a GoPro or the Osmo Action or even the little Pocket is that they have such tiny sensors and they don't always deal with contrast ratios that well. Sometimes, you have to sacrifice the highlights in your picture. What I do is I don't sacrifice the highlights if I can help it. So I take the highlights down to an acceptable level on the screen and I light up the shadows with a miniature light. So what you're doing is you're changing the contrast ratio of what you're filming, which is much nicer, a much nicer effect when you're out in the sun. So let's try it out on the GoPro as I'm walking down the street, and I'll take a few shots as I go along the way. To compensate for the fact that the shadows might be a little bit lower than you'd want perhaps, I've now put the F7 Falcon light on top of my GoPro. It's not as convenient because you've got to have a light on the top of your camera, I suppose, and in my case what I do is I use a lav mic, a lavalier, so there's no microphone on top of my camera, so it's not quite as convenient. Backlighting hopefully isn't too much of a problem, even in sunlight, because the light takes over. And front lighting also isn't a problem because the shutter takes over and brings the highlights down. Oh, I see the old corns coming out now. Oh, would you look at that? That's my view. I normally come up to this gate and have a good look, but the farmer has put some cattle feed right in the way. It's really pleasant walking along here in the summer months and when it's quiet. No one comes down here really, and the only noise you hear is the distant buzz of a plane occasionally, as I've got now, or birds tweeting away. It's beautiful, lovely at this time of year. There are loads of lovely farms around here. I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with the GoPro. Sometimes I love the picture that you get from it, and other times I think, what's happened there? For some reason, when you go to a nice hot country, you see those pictures from those guys, like in Hawaii or whatever, they put it on GoPro colour and it looks fantastic. I don't get that. I'm so jealous. Farmer's busy. There he goes. Down here is the tiniest village you can imagine, and had I have known about this place, I think I really would have liked to have bought a house here with its little pond, no shops, just a few little places to live in. Lovely, absolutely gorgeous. It's like a picture postcard, and I think this is the place I really would have liked to have lived in. Last year, in the pond on the left, there was a koi carp living there. I can't find him this year. I hope he's all right. But this place is beautiful. It's the tiniest little village I've ever seen. These little fellas are hoping for a bit of food. Hello. Friendly little things. It's beautiful. A village that comprises of 4 households. Lovely, with its own pond. That was the koi carp's home, but he's not in, he's not there. One other thing I like about the GoPro is this super wide view. It comes in very handy when you want to take in a nice vista like this. Beautiful. Whereas here I've got to turn my head and now I can take it home and see the whole lot in one go on a TV screen. I've often thought about getting a TV screen the size of a wall and just leaving a camera running all day like this just to take in the sights, like what goes on around here. So I can leave it running at home as a backdrop and pretend it's my window. I would love that. Hello there. They're following me, or am I following them? The other thing with this GoPro is it has this digital zoom. It's not the best because it's digital, but it does come in useful. There's always a loner, isn't there? Poor little duck, he's all on his own. So these lights do work, they're okay. They're not brilliant, they're not bright, massive, huge lights, but they're good enough to be taken around with you. This one actually still goes in my pocket, just about, and useful for shady conditions, etc. like that. So they are really, really useful if you can get one to go with your GoPro and you don't mind walking around with a light on top of it. With these miniature cameras, the dynamic range is a little bit limited, and the light just helps to even things up just that little bit to give it a bit of an easier time and give you a better picture when you get home. Wouldn't it be nice if someone could invent a light that could light that lot up for you, that was portable? I would really like that. I'm in a foliage tunnel now, so it's quite dark in here, so I'm letting the light just do what it can to light up anything in the low lights, and then when we come out into the sunlight again, hopefully nothing gets blown out either. So you can see the light does help to stabilize the massive contrast you can get in bright sunlight, especially for these miniature cameras. The effect isn't as strong as it would be if you had a massive light on, but it's enough to just bring up the shadows a little bit and give you perhaps a more balanced picture. So it's quite dark in here. Sun is shining through a lot of the leaves, but also there's a lot of blackness down at the bottom there. So the closer it is to me, the lighter hopefully it becomes as well. And even really dark areas can benefit just from a little bit of light to light it up a little bit. And behind there, as you'll see, is sunlight. So these lights are really useful. Thanks for dropping in, and cheers for now.